Fred, first of all, let me join my colleagues in passing condolences to the families that have lost their dear ones. As my brother Kirwa said, losing, death is something that you cannot avoid. But when you lose young people, it's really hard-hitting to the nation and to the families. So my condolences. Now, Fred, I have also been following that debate very keenly. And I can say that, most of the times I feel very constrained commenting on matters to do with Nairobi County for two reasons. Number one is that the governor is like my son, for all practical reasons in terms of age, and the mother happens to come from Western Kenya. So other than, cracking a whip, I would rather be the one advising him. But he has never come for advice. So his pronouncements over the weekend were really disturbing, because what comes before the other? Is it the infrastructure or the building? I'm talking about infrastructure, water, power, sewer line, roads, and public space. Which one comes before the other? They seem to suggest that the high-rise building, the skyscrapers, 75 floors and above, come before the infrastructure. I think the person who has advised the governor needs to be sacked. If he calls me this morning to ask for advice, I'd say the first thing you need to do is to sack the officer who has misled you. That you can make such a pronouncement in public, because then you look very stupid. Okay, for lack of a better word. Because you also don't even need advice. There are things that come before the other.
Are we saying that if at all the infrastructure was in place, then high-rise residential being...
I'm saying, okay, even if you wanted to build, okay, you must have the infrastructure. You cannot start building without infrastructure, because if you look at the services that we have in Nairobi, they are overstretched already. And we have a governor who is already proposing that we put more pressure on the infrastructure we have. Places like Kilimani, Kileleshwa were made for single dwelling. Now we have, high-rise buildings, okay? And the infrastructure cannot match. So there's a mismatch. But even forget about the mismatch that we have in the infrastructure vis-a-vis the development. A city develops through a plan. And I've heard my president talk about a plan. Now, this is where you need a plan. The city had a plan that expired. And when my administration took over, one of the first key things out of the 5 areas of delivery that I agreed with my former boss was ensuring that in 36 months, before I leave, I will have put a master plan for Nairobi. That one we did with the assistance of JICA. We left a master plan that runs from 2014 to 2039. Okay? And it was participatory. When Japanese fund anything, and it was a grant, I must say, 400 million shillings, when Japanese come in and fund anything, because it's public money, the people concerned must participate. So it was fully participatory. Now, we delivered, we left, and Kidero came in, found that plan. The only thing that Kidero did was to launch it publicly. But what should have followed was what we call spatial plans. These are area-specific plans, which are more detailed. But they derive from the master plan, okay? So now we have a plan that is not being implemented. We have a plan that nobody is looking at. We have a plan that has been ignored. And we have a governor that isn't proposing that we can start building skyscrapers without taking into account that you need certain services before you think of building skyscrapers. The final thing on this particular matter, Fred, You know, when you look at the Planning Act, there is nowhere the governor has given room to arbitrarily make decisions. You take, if there's any thing to be approved, a building to be approved, there are other agencies that approve that development before even it comes to the county as a final approval.
Okay.
There's NEMA, there's National Construction Authority, and so on and so forth. Okay? Then it comes to the county planning department, who review the project and approve it in line with the zoning policy. Because if you look at the master plan that the people of Nairobi put together, it has zoning policies. So you can't just wake up one morning and decide you're going to have a 12-story building here. I mean, it is zoned. And when planners decided that there have to be zones, it was for a reason. So you can't have areas of single dwelling units with skyscrapers. It does not even happen in Timbuktu. It does not even happen in South Sudan. It does not even happen where people are so backward. So I am shocked that my governor, my good friend, the young man who is just 37, 38, 39, can even dream of building, he can even dream or imagine that he can allow this to happen.
Okay.
The powers to approve lay squarely with the planning department. I even saw my president in that meeting, and he said the governor, the president, the national government will support this initiative. I must remind the president that if you look at the act, there is nowhere in the act, there is nowhere in the approval process where he comes in or where the national government comes in. There is nowhere. And therefore, this is a very, very, very bad dream. If this is what they call a vision, it's backward, it must be stopped, and the people of Nairobi must say no, and a resounding no, to both Governor Johnson, Arthur Sakaja, and my good friend, the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto. It's a no, no, no.
Okay.